Hello, welcome. My name is San. This is a reading today for Taurus. There are no dates on my readings. I trust that when they find you, if they resonate, then they're yours at that time. Taurus, I'm doing your reading with a blend of decks. You'll see a mix of several decks in your spread today. So we've got the Ten of Swords on the split. I feel like you're considering whether or not it's time to walk away from something. Has it reached its climax? It feels like there's still quite a bit of potential to discover here. The Knight of Cups, it's like there's a message of love that is maybe not being communicated. Perhaps that's the reason you're thinking of walking away. And then the Seven of Discs. The Seven of Discs and the Nine of Pentacles. Seven of Pentacles and Nine of Pentacles. It's interesting, the only one missing is the Eight of Pentacles. The Pentacles have been coming up a lot recently, talking about your work. I feel like there's a matter of love that is getting in way of your work, perhaps, and your independence. And you're considering perhaps walking away with the Moon underneath that. It's like just confusion about what to do in this situation. Just leave these cards spread out across the top. The Four of Swords under the Moon. A lot of contemplation and meditation going on. It's all related to this Emperor. The Emperor has been in, I swear, just about every single reading. We haven't seen this one yet, though. This is a new Emperor to explore. We do have another Emperor that I'm just considering how to shuffle this deck because my hands are too big. Or too small, sorry, the deck is too big for my hands. The Emperor in this reading transforms to one that we've already seen before, but he's starting out as the Wizard of Oz. That's what this card is. It's the Wizard of Oz, so he's quite a complicated character. But you have your mind and maybe your heart set on him right now. So I'm pulling an overall energy from the What We've Forgotten Oracle. Overall energy for Taurus. Taurus and their Emperor. The element of air. So I want to say that this Emperor is leaning much more towards the swords suit than any of the others. And the Akashic Records underneath that. There's a story being written here that is coming straight from the Akashic Records, and I feel like you can feel that, and that's the reason why you're having a hard time letting this go, even if it feels like it's time for that. Maybe you're the one writing the story. You're having a hard time because the Wizard of Oz is a complicated energy, like I was saying. The interesting thing about him, though, is that he's quite intriguing. He's a sought-out energy. Everybody wants to see the wizard, but is the wizard truthful? That's the thing. But what's coming up with the Page of Swords next is telling me that this Emperor is somebody that you've learned a lot from. So that's where it gets really complicated, because you've learned a lot from them, but is it worth continuing to go see them or continuing to connect with them if it's not satisfying you in some way? I feel like that's the case because the Devil is coming up next. So there's something about this relationship with this Emperor. I just saw 333 on the timer. There's something about this relationship with this Emperor that is keeping you hooked, but at the same, you're learning a lot. That's the thing. It's the reason why you're not able to walk away, is because he's teaching you an enormous amount. But the question is there illusion tied into the truths that he speaks? Is it, I mean, especially with the Moon coming up next, you've got the Moon twice. One of them is the Cheshire Cat, talking about there being a bit of a riddle. There's a riddle involved with this that is keeping you perplexed. It's also talking about being at a distance. I often look at the Moon card and think about how the creatures are looking up and seeing the same moon from a distance, but this Moon card is closer than ever. It's like this is the closest you've ever gotten. So you're feeling a particular closeness to this Emperor, but you're questioning whether it's more of an unhealthy attachment with that Devil. There's something in it that's feeling unhealthy to you, related to your heart. For some reason, when the heart gets brought into the matter, it's like it wants to stay more cerebral, more in the learning realm. So when the heart energy gets mixed in, that's where it gets complicated and tricky. And that's why the Ten of Swords is coming out with the Knight of Cups. It's like perhaps you're not saying maybe you're the one who's not being truthful about how you feel about this Emperor, because you're feeling the Nine of Swords, you're feeling some anxiety, and the Lovers underneath that, some anxiety about where this relationship is going or could be going. This Lovers card is a tricky one because I always see them as companions rather than lovers. They're on the hero's journey together. So it could be just, and then the Queen of Cups underneath that. I got to stop going through the deck. So it's like there's a strong potential for a heart connection here, especially with this Ten of Cups coming next. The Ten of Cups and the It's About Time Wheel of Fortune. It's like something isn't playing out the way that you anticipated that it might. For some reason, it's like this Emperor is holding back, because it's like all of the potential is here for this to be a Ten of Cups, but it's sitting more in this Ten of Swords energy, because there's a heavy swords element with this Emperor. He's very cerebral. He's very cerebral. He's very caught up in the mind. He has a star on his collar, but I'm not seeing any indication of his heart energy there. The card is green though, so that to me does talk about heart energy. Which my daughter, when she was really little and she was connecting with angels, she would say that the angels were either green or pink, and the green was the male angel, which is talks about love, but it also talks about healing. I'm not sure why I'm bringing that up in relationship to the Emperor. Maybe that's the benefit that you receive from them, is that they're teaching you about healing love. But there's this message here about it's about time for this to become what it could be. What is holding it back? What is holding it back from becoming this Six of Cups? It's like you're wanting, if you guys are at a distance, you're closer than ever. It's like you're getting so close to actually coming together in a way that would be fulfilling to you. So you're saying it's about time that you come and see me. It's like you're inviting them to come to you. The reason I say that is because I feel like this is Dorothy or Alice. I guess that's Alice. It's not either of them, actually. It's not that deck. It's the Galactic Star Tarot deck. So, but he seems like the visitor here, and this is Alice's domain. So it's like it's about time that he shows up in the way that you're requiring, because the moon is coming up twice. It's like there's a lot of distance, and the Hermit is coming out. It's like maybe you guys are mainly over text or cell phone or FaceTime and not having a lot of time in person. It feels like you may be having no time in person. That's why you're saying it's about time. It's about time to turn this wheel and have a visit. Whichever direction it's going, one person must come to the other, or maybe we could meet in the middle, or like I was talking to a friend the other day, meeting at a third location so that it's not an either of your domain, but it feels like you want them to come to you with this card here. And maybe they have in the past, but it's been quite a while, because this is a melancholy remembrance card. Remember the last time you came and it was a beautiful connection, but they're not doing that, because you've got the Four of Swords and the Hermit card coming up next, which looks like the both of you taking a time out. Perhaps every time you bring it up, perhaps every time you bring it up to them, that it's time for that. It's just saying it's about time. In whatever relationship, like in whatever way that relates to this dynamic, it's about time something occurs. It's about time that this turns to a 10 and a 6 of Cups. Which feels like it could be a really lucky time. If there's something about maybe the astrology perhaps that is telling you that, or the numerology that is telling you that it's a lucky time. The reason why I'm saying that is because the 10 and the 6 together make up 16, and then it reduces to a 7. And to me, that is lucky, and it's spirit. It's saying that spirit is on your side, and that this is a lucky time to be coming together with this Emperor. But it's like the more that you say that, the more it drives you apart. With the Four of Swords, it's like exasperation, and then the Hermit energy is yours. You're sitting in this Hermit space, And in the Hermit space, it feels like guides and counsel come to you because you've got the Gnat and the Hierophant showing up next. It's like higher counsel. This is the reason why I'm saying that spirit or the astrology or the numerology is telling you that this is a good time. Maybe waiting out the Mercury retrograde. I'm not sure if that's over yet or not. It feels like it's still occurring, but it's like it's getting to the end, and at the end of it, you're both separated in this meditative stance. You're much more elevated, though, is what it's appearing like in the cards with this. He's feeling relieved about the fact that the conversation gets dropped. I feel like you bring it up or you hint towards it, and then it gets dropped and he feels relief. It's not quite relief, though. There's something else there. There's a burden there with him. There's a burden with the Emperor that has something to do with you being on your own. Because when you're on your own, you bump into all of these spiritual energies. The Gnat talks about a guide that steps forward that really challenges you in your thinking. Maybe above and beyond what the Emperor is challenging you in, because it is coming out right below the Page of Swords and the Devil. So there's something about maybe the learning when it comes to the Emperor is stuck at a page energy and it's not quite advancing, but there's something that continues to bring you back to them. So every time you come back to the Emperor, there's something new for you to learn there, but is it advancing? Is it advancing? Or is it staying stuck in a particular stage of learning or healing or heart expression? Because it feels like the heart is missing here. At least from, I was going to say at least from his side, but it feels like it's from both your sides because you tend to lean back on the cerebral. So the connection is staying very cerebral and is not tipping into that heart space when you're feeling like it's time for that to occur. It's like there's this guide that steps forward for you when you're in your Hermit space that tells you to be bold, because the Queen of Wands is coming up next. And it's talking about you being really bold in your stance. So it's like maybe you put on the pressure a little bit saying, okay, Emperor, it's time for this it's time to revisit something that was beautiful from the past, because we're staying stuck in this page energy and it needs to advance more to this King of Swords. If you're going to be a cerebral, if this is going to be a cerebral relationship, let's take it to the extreme, something like that. But then this Hierophant appears, which feels like this guide. It's not the tough love guide. It's like this higher element that is telling you it's actually getting in the way of the moon. Is that true? Because I'm seeing the moon card came right above it, and it looks like the two creatures, it's like if you put the Hierophant in the middle. So it's like it's wanting to create the bridge between the two. It's encouraging you to bridge the two for some reason. That's the reason why you're adamant about this. And it's like, why? What is it about this Emperor that is being so laid back? It's almost as if every time, because he turns into this Emperor here whenever you turn into the Queen of Wands, or whenever you take a bold stance or show your passion or attempt to light the flames here, because it spreads very quickly is what it looks like. It's like whenever you show up in this fiery energy, it spreads. It begins to fill his space, and it's like there's something about that he's not comfortable with. There's something about time, maybe, because the time card, the It's About Time Wheel of Fortune is coming out above the Four of Wands. This particular Four of Wands talks about it's kind of like the long game. So he's more playing the long game with you. There's something, he's not telling me what it is that is holding him up, except for the fact that the fire spreads too quickly. The fire spreads too quickly and it makes him lean back. Because here he's much more prominent when it comes to the cerebral aspect. But when you start showing up with the fire and it begins to spread through his domain, that's when he kind of steps back. And I'm just looking at the look in his eyes is like he's not comfortable with this for some reason. There's something he's keeping tucked away, which is not surprising, being the Wizard of Oz. It's like he's not being completely transparent about everything that's going on with him. There's something that he's hiding. The reason why I'm saying that is because I'm noticing that he has 3 hands. So one of them is tucked under. So it's almost as if he shows different aspects of himself depending on what aspect you show up in. If you show up in a more cerebral, like I do, what is it that you have to teach me today? That's when he reaches out. That's when he reaches out and he has a lot to say to you. But when you show up with all the fire, it's like his hand is going to get burned and he pulls it back, is what it looks like to me. But you've got this, you're adamant about the fact that there's something beautiful that you've been working on for a long time, and it's about time for it to be made manifest. Something like that. It's about time to celebrate this. We need to come together to celebrate us. We need to come together to celebrate us, but it's ending with the 7 of Wands, which is a very complicated energy. It's like he's intimidated by you, is how it's feeling. He's intimidated by you because of the work that you do. Coming back to the work, there's all this independence because the 8 isn't there. It's the 9, which is a very independent energy, and the 7. So where's the 8? It doesn't matter. It's talking about the fact that you have a lot of work. You do a lot of work. Maybe whatever it is that they're teaching you, you take it back and you apply it to your work, and your work is advancing in a way that is making you feel very independent. With the Hermit and the 9 of Pentacles and the 7 of Wands, it's focused on the shoes. When I look at the shoes, I think of them as the shoes that you wear. So he's focused really on the fact that your shoes are too big. He wants you to take your shoes off. That's not true. There's a defensiveness about the role that you play. Maybe he's telling you that you need to stay independent. Maybe he's feeling like because he knows that he is hiding something, or he's not being very forthcoming about a particular aspect of his character, that he's encouraging you to stay independent. It's something like that. And it's like the more you push the togetherness, the more he leans back into independence. That's what this is looking like to me. He's leaning back into this space of independence. He wants you to stay independent, but doesn't want to let go of this connection. It is a beautiful connection, and it's, like I said, it's closer than ever. And it's like one more step and you will be united, but for some reason he's holding back because it gets too fiery too fast. So for whatever reason that is, he doesn't want the fire to be. So perhaps there's a way for you to tame the fire and to keep it more cerebral. Let's explore it more in the extended, as I'm not seeing here exactly what the solution is. I'm just seeing that you're both adamant. You're adamant that it's time for this to come together, and he's adamant that independence is sustained. Perhaps there's a way to do both of those things. Let's explore it in the extended. If you're interested in that, the link is in the description box. And if not, I will see you next time, Taurus. Thanks. Bye.